sir.
Yeah, pleasure. How are you?
Doing pretty well.
Good to hear it. So, welcome to Bangkok, City of Legends.
Thanks for having me on.
You don't have to be a legend to be here, but you have to tell us legendary stories.
Let's go with both, eh?
Why not? Why not? We aim for greatness. So, I met you through Dynamite Circle. Interesting group of people. How long have you been with them?
I've been in the DC for maybe 9 years now.
Oh wow, almost OG.
Not quite, but it's been a long time. Made a ton of great friends from all over the world, and since I Nomad around quite a bit, it's pretty nice to have a starting network in all those places, and then going to a lot of cities kind of on repeat. I can kind of brew these friend circles in, London, Mexico City, Barcelona, here, etc. It's been quite nice in that way, and a filter of weirdo internet people that makes for good dinners and good conversation, and also good help with business and lots of good stuff. So yeah, big fan of the DC.
Yeah, it's fun. I've been enjoying it. I'm relatively new to it, but loving it.
How did you get pulled into
I did
cult?
Baby bathwater, which is kind of very American.
I'm familiar.
And mostly B2C. And then a few people told me that DC was probably better for B2B.
Yeah.
SaaS.
Yeah, there's definitely some overlap there, but yeah, it's a little bit different crowd, I guess.
Well, Baby bathwater was very like people with super soakers filled with acid. So sort of vibe. Not everyone was doing that, but plenty were.
But that's part of the demographic. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was wonderful. I needed it. I think when you have quick success like I had, I was a bit lost, felt untethered, and so it just felt nice to have some people where I could be unapologetically myself. And now I'm learning to apologetically be myself and kind of not piss quite so many people off.
That feels like a good balance.
It's a learning curve. Getting there, maturing in my
poco, as they say.
So how long have you been in Thailand, and where were you before?
So I've been coming to Thailand since 2014.
Nice.
And then I kind of moved here in 2016, but I was living in Chiang Mai for like a year or two. Mm-hmm. And then I was just kind of like nomading around Asia for a while, and then I sort of went to Mexico for a bit during COVID, and then back here kind of 2022, I think.
Cool. And
been kind of based here like half the year maybe since then, and kind of consider it home.
As much as somewhere like you could.
Yeah. It's definitely the place I feel the most home, and I think that Bangkok's my favorite city in the world by like a pretty big margin. But I do like going other places to kind of reset that and just have different experiences in life.
Yeah, Bangkok's a lot. Like for me, like I have the weekends away at the beach house, and I think that's necessary. But I understand people that do it for like half the year and then somewhere else.
Yeah,
maybe a bit more peaceful. Do you go, or if you bounce between Bangkok and Mexico City, that just sounds
I'm kind of a city guy. That's like like I'll go to Hua Hin for a weekend.
Yeah,
and that's enough.
You get bored.
Yeah. After like 2 or 3 days, I'm like,
So I'm in Chatham, which is like even more remote than Hua Hin. People ask me, what's there to do there? And you're like, nothing. That's why I like it. I just sit in my pool, drinking a beer, looking out.
I kind of like all the things. I want to eat interesting food all the time. I want to meet up with people who are coming through. I want to go to cocktail bars. I want to like have that, and Bangkok just does that very well. I also like. Thailand in general, but Bangkok specifically, it's so low friction. You can just have this like very convenient life that's not full of life admin. So you can actually like do the things you want to do, whether that be your work or your social or hobbies or whatever. You're not spending all your time doing life admin, which I think is kind of unique to this part of the world. Maybe like in the West, like you have to do a lot of life admin. Like your whole life is like doing stuff like random BS, right?
Yeah. It was definitely worse when I was smoking a lot of weed, but I remember living in the UK and just feeling like it was constant paperwork.
Yeah.
Constant, like a bill for this,
Yeah, there's kind of like a loop of, you know, it's like laundry, dishes, grocery store, cooking, like this
like playing The Sims. You just constantly playing with the meters.
Yeah, exactly. Where I feel like here, a lot of that can be, you know, even if like you don't set it up at the house, like, I mean, you can just move to Thailand, get an apartment for $500 a month, order Thai food on Grab every day, and that could be your whole setup. And you know, it's like $1,000 a month, and like now all that life admin from your old life is gone, and you could, you know, work on your business if you don't have one, or have it, you know what I mean, like these kind of things.
Or drink yourself to an early grave. Whatever you want. It's a choose your own adventure
story.
Well,
that's the beauty, you know. You can retire early, right? Which many have, yeah.
Sure. I think retire is an interesting thing because they're just hoping to die before they need the rest of their pension.
Yes,
it's the plan for many.
Yes.
For generations these days. But okay, so you've been here a while, got the hang of it, very enthusiastic about like life quality.
Yeah.
So much so that you went viral a couple of years ago?
Well, yeah. So there was, a few years ago, there was like a CNBC piece where they were just kind of profiling my lifestyle here, which was a little bit more on the higher end than the average profile of someone's lifestyle, because I feel like usually the pitch on Thailand is how cheap it is.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like, well, or you could just live like you were living in New York, but it will be cheaper than New York.
I mean, my Polish co-founder always said this, is like, cheap food is kind of cheap food anywhere you go.
Yeah.
The joy of moving to a place like this is you can go to a very nice restaurant and it's not crazy expensive.
And I think the thing here too, what I've always liked about it, is that it has the whole range, and not a lot of places really have that. Like if you go to like somewhere like an expensive city in the world, like Geneva or something, right?
Everything's expensive.
Everything's expensive, and yes, they have great high quality food, but they don't have $1.50 pad Thai. You know what I mean? That like there's nothing at the bottom, right? It's only the top, right? Or if you go somewhere like really remote in even like in Thailand, some small place or whatever, like yes, that low end stuff is cheap and good, but
better like it.
But that's all you're getting, right?
Yeah.
Where I feel like in Bangkok you get that big spread, and I don't really know any other cities that really have that. Like, you know,
the range.
The range of everything. Yeah.
You can get the BTS or
and so I think that makes it really, really special. But yeah, one thing that I thought was kind of interesting is when that profile came out, and it went, you know, it kind of went viral on both sides, in the West and then also in Thailand, which was kind of surprising because Thai people don't care about Farang news, right? Like they're being Thai people. They
two very separate worlds.
Yeah, they don't care what we're up to, right? But somehow this got into the media cycle in Thai news.
Well, I think very often the Thais are quite proud, and very often people are talking about how cheap it is here, and that's. Okay, thanks. Like, if you come somewhere and be like, love your poorly faring economy, it means I can afford to buy whatever I want, including people. Yeah. Everyone's like, brilliant, really glad you're here. What a great summary and review of our country. Yeah. Whereas you were much more genuinely enthusiastic and positive.
And I think that's what was kind of the most shocking thing, because I thought, well, I stuck my head up here, not on purpose to stick it up that far, and I was like, you know, I'm either going to get a trophy or I'm going to get kicked out of the country. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't know what happens when you...
It can go either way.
When you dip up into mainstream, right? And so... But what was interesting is all the people from around the world were the haters, and the local expats. A lot of hate from the local expats.
But they have nothing bad to do.
Yeah.
And you say local, they're not in Bangkok in my experience. They're in Isan.
Yeah.
Right? They met a girl in a bar.
Yeah.
And then not necessarily a bar girl, but they met, you know, a girl. And they've gone back to Isan and they're teaching English there, and they have nothing to do but drink beer chang and angrily write in the comments.
There was a lot of negativity there. But then what was interesting is I didn't know what to expect from the Thai people, and it was that narrative that you're saying, where it was like finally, it's not just about living here for $300 a month as a backpacker. Like, we are a real place. Like, we have nice things. Like, this guy chose to live here instead of New York. And then, that pride thing kind of came out. And then even with like the economic disparity, it was more of a like, oh yeah, we do have a lot of nice stuff. I'm hoping that like someday I can make more and like enjoy some of those things that we have here. And then I even got like outreach of like, Thai people like, tell me about this like internet entrepreneur stuff. Like, how can I get started? Like, what's this and like that kind of thing. Like,
Nice.
like this very wholesome, like inspirational stuff. And I was like, see, guys, we don't have to argue all the time. We don't have to hate everybody all the time, you know. And I was like, this is like.
I mean, we are drawn to the negative comments, but there's normally a mix. And
Yeah, I was quite surprised by the healthiness of the Thai response and whatever. But I mean, this was like, it went crazy here. Like, I was on like the nightly news. Like, they like came to my apartment and like interviewed me in the lobby, and like it was like the news truck guy with the God, and then they had like a translator doing it.
It was a thing.
I was like, whoa, man, what is going on here?
Did you invite them, or did they find your apartment?
They like reached out to me, you know, and I was just I was like, well, we're riding the wave now. Let's see where this goes, right? And so it was quite an interesting experience. But
you work in SEO, so lots of backlinks.
yeah, there was a lot. That was good. So that was. I mean, the original purpose of this was kind of PR stuff, right? Like, what's a lot more interesting than talking about the drop-in blog is talking about the Farang story, right? But press is press kind of thing. It was sort of the idea, but this one got a little bit out of hand. But it ended up being good. I think like if it would have been in some of the other countries where they're kind of hating on expats right now, it could have been a problem.
Yeah, you've caught the zeitgeist because Thailand is very much trying to shift to a higher class of tourists. And so you definitely captured the mood and the thing that there's big government agencies trying to get behind.
Yeah.
And so I definitely see why.
So it was I was safe, but it was kind of luck and could have gone another direction, right? Where there could have been negativity from the local, negativity from the government. Who knows, right? You don't know. And so, fortunately, Thailand still welcomes me, and I'm a very happy guest here. So,
yeah, it's brilliant. How would you compare it to some of the other countries you've lived? You were in Panama before for a while.
Yeah, I did live in Panama for about 8 years previously, so about the same kind of stint. So, I mean, everything functions better here, but I think that there's also a lot of parallels as far as like, the developing kind of up and coming country that's on a nice curve. They have a lot of nice apartments. It's a tropical, lived in Panama City, in Panama, also tall, big skyline city with lots of international things happening there because of the canal, and it's sort of the hub of Central America and the Caribbean. Like, if you were going to be rolling out a brand to Central America, Caribbean, that's where you're going to put your office, right?
So, as Bangkok is the gateway and hub of Asia for a lot of companies.
Yeah. So it kind of has these parallels, which is kind of cool, and like a shipping hub because of the canal and stuff. So there's this parallel that you can feel with the kind of the internationalism of it, which makes it quite interesting to me. I like that kind of meeting different people from around the world doing different interesting things. It's just like a smaller version of it. Panama City is a much smaller city. I feel like it punches above its weight, but its weight is small. It's like 1.5 million. But like when you arrive in the city, it feels like 5 million or something like this.
Whereas Bangkok is really hard to gauge.
It
just goes and it goes.
It goes forever. So like
the numbers become meaningless.
Yeah. You're just like, it's more about your neighborhoods or whatever. Where
I know I had a club on Khao San Road, and I wouldn't even try and invite people that lived in this area there because you're not going to travel across Bangkok.
Yeah, I did it twice.
Thank you. Wasn't enough to save us, unfortunately, but it is appreciated nonetheless.
But there's a lot of parallels between the two places, I think, which is why I think I fell in love with Bangkok as well. When I first came here, I'd been living there for a long time, and I was kind of getting burnt out on it, looking for a change, kind of looking to, like, just level up or just do something new, right? And then when I got to Bangkok, immediately, literally within like 4 hours, I was like, oh, this is Panama City 2.0. I feel it. I can feel this has got all the things I like about the... you've got the street city, you've got the sky city, you've got the internationalism, you've got the wide range of prices and in all these kind of things, tropical weather, etc. But it's like, it's in a new culture, it's in a new part of the world, it's a much bigger city. So it kind of clicked all the boxes for me, and then, but it felt like the new frontier, right? And so...
Yeah, and Bangkok has that as well. It's got like the old parts of town that have been there for 1,000 years. and haven't changed. It's got the people that you can tell have lived here for all their lives, including the expats even. Like, but then there's always new people coming through. There's always a new restaurant. There's always a new thing. So it's,
right. Yeah, and I think that the thing that surprised me here, when I was living in Panama, I kind of always had Thailand on the radar for some reason. Like I'd never even been to Asia. I guess because it's got the most marketing of like an expat place in Asia, I guess. And so it was always sort of in the back of my mind as like somewhere to go check out. But I feel like I put it off extra because I thought like it's got to be like Cancun by now. Like it's just like because if everybody knows about it and everyone's been talking about it, it's probably just like completely overrun and super annoying. And then you get here and it's like it's very Thai. Like yes, in the most foreigner bubbles or whatever, but even still, but even still, like even in the most center of the universe places, it's still very Thai, and you can walk 5 minutes in any direction, and you are definitely in Thailand. Like
Bangkok's one of the few cities in the world, I'd say, that hasn't globalized to the point of just becoming anonymous, identical copies of. There's so many cities where if you drop someone in blindfolded, it would take them a while to guess.
Yeah, and that can definitely happen here at like a certain cocktail bar or a certain restaurant, right, where it kind of feels that. But then again, you walk outside for 2 seconds and there's a guy like frying chicken and like
motorbike driving on the pavement.
Like all of these things that are very Thailand, which is it's such a big city that it can basically absorb it. You know, there's a lot more going on than the tourism and the expats living here, and so that's what makes it great, is that it doesn't impact it as much as, say, I also chalk it up to, I've been noticing this with tall cities versus short cities. You know, they're having a lot of problems with like the like digital nomad population and expats coming.
Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona, Lisbon, Mexico City, a lot of problems.
They get full.
But it's because they're short, right? Like, you know, you have a bunch of 2-3 story buildings, there's no apartment supply, Airbnb prices go 3x, like all of this kind of thing when people come to town. Where here, you know, it's just, it goes on forever. There's you know, each tower, you know, has 300 units in it or something like that, and then there's endless of those.
Well, they're constantly building.
Yeah. It's way overbuilt. There's oversupply of apartments, so like.
It's technically a bad investment now.
Yeah. Terrible place to buy apartments.
But that's good. I think building should be to live in. Right?
Yeah.
For the local population and if people want to.
Yeah. So from a consumer standpoint, it's really good, and then it doesn't affect I mean, even in Chiang Mai, where like it's been the digital nomad hotspot forever, they have towers there. They're not huge, but you know, the 13-story tower that has, you know, 150 units in it, that's a lot different than a 3-flat, you know?
Yeah.
And they can absorb it too. And interestingly enough, like the price there, the inflation is like almost nothing over the last like 5 decades. Like it's just insane. But I hypothesize that I think it has a bit to do with that housing supply situation, where in a lot of Europe and I guess Mexico City was kind of built like Europe because it's on like a fault line or whatever. They have a similar problem, so it's kind of a weird thing.
We get a combination of like, they say building regulations, but if you look into it, it's normally the big building companies and the realtors who are intentionally using it as a moat, anti-competitive to stop building from getting done.
Yeah, quite fascinating. But good contrast, I thought, like coming from Panama, it was like an interesting change, but also similar to the things I liked. And, you know, I've been to a lot of cities in Asia as well that all are interesting, but for me, none of them quite hit like Bangkok. I feel like it's the most developed of the less developed places. So it has that grit still. You know, Singapore is a bit sterile.
Yeah, I mean, I came straight from LA to Singapore and was like, wow, Singapore, amazing, love it. It's the future. It's so impressive. Yeah. Would I want to live there? Maybe not.
Might end up in jail. Yeah.
Sure.
Don't know what for, but you know.
It's like you see people jogging around the parks in Singapore, and you're like, "Oh, that's lovely," and then you remember, "Oh, but I would never do that. I'm not a jogger. Yeah. So this city's not for me."
And I think like here kind of gets the feel of like, you know, this modern Asian city, but yeah, there's still grit. There's still street life. There's this kind of balance of both, where there it's like, you know, it's like, oh, we got the street food, but it's and like in the hawker stand.
I've heard it's key for nightlife as well. So I was reading this great Vice blog about how in New York, like there's this curve that clubs go through, where first it's found by the artistic community, and then it becomes cool and hip, and then a bunch of finance bros come in and they scare away all the cool people, and they price them out as well. But Bangkok has such a thriving nightlife because of this huge swing. Right. So you can have the people that are here on a English teacher salary. Yeah. They can pre-drink at a food store, and then they go into the nightclub.
It's a problem actually with these magical city states like that, and because you can't afford to be a starving artist there, so then that means there's no art. So how are they going to have bands and how are they going to have
Filipinos?
Yeah, who are working, I guess.
And Filipino cover bands. That's how Dubai solves.
True. But it's funny because that's and I've seen this before. It's so they're basically importing culture.
Yeah.
Because it's become so sterile. Because if you're a rich Singaporean person, you have to work for a living to pay the rent.
Yeah.
And there's
try telling your parents you're going to be a starving artist. You'll get beaten.
Yeah. So I think that's where somewhere like this can thrive, and where there is art, there is culture of those things in a much grander scale, because you can live out of town. It's very inexpensive. You can, honestly, I think Chiang Mai is the biggest kind of example of this. It's so inexpensive to live there. Just locally, art is such a big part of the culture. People that are at the coffee shops, they're making crafts and making the coffee shop look cool, and there's just a lot of that kind of culture that has snowballed there.
I think Chiang Mai has a rule as well. There's no no chain or branded places within the old city walls, and that definitely helps support independent.
Yeah, that could be
artisty places.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, I think all of that all these weird puzzle pieces come together to make these magical places. And I also think Singapore is this amazing experiment that went very well. And they were oh, what if we just
it got the high score at the game it was trying to play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so it's not necessarily the perfect place to live, but also I could see a version of in 20 years from now where you get sick of the grit and you're you know what, I like Asia, but I just want everything to work all the time. There could be a narrative to that. I could see, but it's different games, I guess.
So you shared a very interesting blog talking about the stages people go through when they move to Thailand, and it definitely resonated with me, because I feel when people first come here, you just have the rose-tinted glasses of naivety. Yeah. And just wow, this place is heaven on earth. Yeah. And then a lot of people get trapped a few years later being well, the locals don't speak English very well, and it's hard to get a visa, and the traffic's bad, and then they just end up complaining, mostly in the comments on YouTube. They used to be on a website called ThaiVisa.com, but unfortunately now they're on Facebook.
Yeah, that was an interesting article written a long time ago. I found that, so I guess we can link it in the comments or whatever. It's called the life cycle of the expat or something like this. And it has 7 stages that you go through. And what I thought was really interesting is I randomly found that article at that time when I was leaving Panama and planning to move here.
Right.
And I'm looking through this, and it was written about Thailand. And I was oh man, this is actually everyone in Panama too. And so then again, more parallels.
And that's important, because I think you can leave a place and be you get down on it, right?
Yeah.
But you're taking your attitude with you. That's the problem.
And I think
you're going to end up disillusioned with Bangkok too. You need to make a long-term life here that's not based on glorifying Thailand.
And that's where I think I learned, I was at that burnout point because of a few things that happened, and I'd been there too long, and I'd owned property, and I had to deal with a lot of bureaucracy and these kind of things. And I had kind of got to my wit's end and was ready to move on, which is unfortunate because I do really like the place, but I kind of ruined it for myself or whatever, and by reading this article and seeing the different phases of how that can happen. And I was okay, when I get to Thailand and I can see that it's not a Panama thing, it's just a living in a different culture thing, especially a developing culture, I think would be the main Venn diagram here. And so it's there are all these things. We come and we're freedom and inexpensive and all of this kind of stuff. But then, there's what also comes with that is, bureaucracy doesn't function as well, and maybe the legal system isn't as sound. And
half the complaints I hear, people showing up to immigration and demanding everyone speak English, and you're like, unfortunately, we never got around to colonising this country, so we didn't have to force the government to speak English or French. So it's a thing. They have their own independence, and they do not have to learn your language. You're in their office.
I definitely took that to heart in the fact of that. Yeah, basically, I wanted to stay in that bliss phase, like on purpose. In the fact that like I know that.
I got that from the article too. It's like somebody is like, you can go deep on Thailand and all its flaws, and you can learn to love its imperfections. Yeah, but you don't have to.
You can stop at
you can have a shallow love of Thailand.
Yeah, the bliss consumerism phase. That's fine. We can just extract money from the West.
To be honest, there's probably high-so times that don't integrate or encounter the deep cultural of the working class of the Thai people.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, and those are going to be some of the people that we end up mingling with, because also you have more in common with, because they spent a summer in New York, they've been around a little bit more and this kind of stuff, and so like that's okay or whatever. But I think it's interesting thinking about usually where people get in trouble is like, when you start like having employees or dealing with local employment law, whatever that means, or owning properties and dealing with the bureaucracy involved at that, or that you don't actually own the land and the lease and the this and the there's all these things that and then one of the phases is sort of where you try to fix things. You say, but if you guys just did it this way, like we do back in my country, then, and they say, well, if we did
Can I have a meeting with the mayor, please?
Yeah.
He's doing his
and
job
it's like, if we did things back like in your country, then it would be like your country. Remember, you left there and you're here now? This is how we got to here. and that's, the Farang has trouble with that, I think,
yes.
We like to fix everything, and so that when some
you guys considered being more efficient.
They just kind of lull, it's an interesting. So I've tried to be wary of that, and that's why I like don't own property here or don't have employees here, like this kind of thing. And
this is where we first connected, I think, is because our shared failures. You more in Panama, I guess, of trying to run businesses when you're out of your depth culturally. And it's just really hard. And I don't think always, but I think often it's kind of born of this benevolent post-colonial like idea that this is a developing country. I think a lot of people come here because it's underdeveloped and they've come from a first world country. Their take on it is that this will be easy, I know some tricks they don't, I was educated at a good school, blah blah blah. And I've tried explaining to people, like when they start a bar on Khao San Road, for example, like that has been a very competitive street selling market for 50 years.
Right.
If you're going there, you better have a team of people who not only know how to do street selling, but know how to recruit and train a local population of people on how to do good street selling.
And know how the game works in that particular place. I would just guess...
The mafia, the police.
I would just guess in those ultra-touristy places, there's those layers that you have to deal with a bit more than if you just, got a kiosk in the mall. And so, that
there it's just a well-organized process.
And so knowing how to navigate all that stuff, I think most expats learn the hard way. And I think you can come in. And I guess someone else in the DC chat was mentioning that I think that the reason people think that it's easy mode is because the economics are different, right? So you're thinking, in my home country, like, rent was like $5,000 and
cost of barrier to entry is so high. It's here.
It's like, here you're doing the math and you're thinking, I can get in on this business for like $5,000 total. And there it's like $100,000. And so you're like, well, I'm sure whatever the extra things are, I can figure them out. But it turns out that not just the cost, but the headache, and then also the economics are different, right?
Margins are razor thin. People don't come to Thailand expecting a high ticket price, and if they do, the standard is very high.
So then you're in the, you're kind of on the losing end of the everyone wants beers for 80 baht, and then it's like, oh wait, but beers cost like 56 baht or what, like this kind of loop, and it's now you're on the other side of that value chain, which is not the greatest. And the other thing that I've seen too with this, a lot of like small Thai businesses, like when you kind of do the math on like a small coffee shop or whatever, and you think like, how is this guy here for 10 hours a day selling lattes for 50 baht or whatever, and you do the math and it's like, yeah, because at the end of the month they come out with like 400 bucks, which is enough to live here.
Yeah.
Pretty decent.
And they're not paying staff either, by the way. That's very often him and his wife and the kid.
And so like the economics work for them in that scenario, but the point is like that's what you're competing with. Someone who's like very happy with their family at like $400 to $800 a month total income.
Yeah.
And so they're okay with small margins. They're not trying to scale.
Not just okay as well. Like they're happy. They like it. They work with passion. They put love into their food or coffee or whatever they do. They do it well.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas a Farang often be like, this isn't worth my fucking time.
Yeah. How can I scale it? How can I scale it? How can I and where So
this isn't even paying for my visa fees.
Now you've got somebody who actually has a love of the thing, putting in the passion. Gets a very good quality of life for the amount of money that outputs. I mean, that's the other thing I think here on the low end of the economic scale, like the quality of life here is kind of better than anywhere I've ever been. Yeah. Like, But
if you're trying to save up money to go back home for Christmas to visit your parents, good luck.
Yeah.
And that was the tough thing. I was doing very well with the dive school here. But it was very well, I was living like a happy 26-year-old in Thailand.
Right.
Can I afford to go home for Christmas? No. Sorry, Mum and Dad.
I'm not because you're dealing with the economics here. So here you're great, everything's good. But then
what's my pension plan? Don't have one.
And you know what's definitely not in the pension plan is £1,500 to get back home for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So that's the tricky part of that. But it is, I think a lot of people need to learn the hard way. That's how humans work, right? Like we see opportunities, and especially a lot of people here have an entrepreneurial mindset. That's kind of how you ended up out here because you like to do entrepreneurial stuff maybe.
Yeah, and I was young and naive and a hippie and a stoner, so I kind of thought it wasn't just the cost to entry, but all the bureaucracy and the red tape.
Yeah.
I was like, that sucks back home. It's so hard. And you hear it as well, especially from the people here. It's so hard to start a business back home.
Right.
It's so easy out here. Actually, I found the opposite is true. I don't know about America, but in England, it's fairly straightforward to start a business. There's loads of government initiatives, loads of tax write-offs, and so pretty much you get loads of support until you're profitable.
Yeah.
You barely have to pay an accountant. You barely have to pay any taxes, and you get loads of interest-free loans even to help you.
And the bureaucracy is solved, right? Like,
yes.
So
yes, you have to fill in the form.
Yeah.
But then it's done and it means something.
Yeah.
If you have an argument with your Thai co-founder here.
Yeah, there's not like 5 levels of, you have to talk to a guy and then there's a thing that has to happen and
So my favourite story of that, I set up an English language school, right? And then so we had to get permits from the Ministry of Education.
Right.
And then to get visas for our staff, permits then from the Ministry of Labour. And they both came within 1 week and they said, okay, the Ministry of Education can't give you a permit as a school until they see you have teachers, teaching classes and a schedule and students. The Ministry of Labour can't give you anyone a permit to work until you have the permit from the Ministry of Education. So when the Ministry of Labour comes, none of your teachers are allowed to be at school because none of them have working permits yet.
Right.
And when the Ministry of Education comes, everyone needs to be at the school.
Yeah.
And we just said to both parties, you do know, what we have to do here. You've set us in a catch 22, impossible to solve problem. And they go, but it's the same for everyone, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And one of the groups that struggle the most is the people that come here and go, I'm European, we follow the laws to the letter, I will try and do that here, I will hire an expensive lawyer and I'll have everything above board so that I can't have any problems. You're like, no, that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
This system is not made to be done cleanly, legally, efficiently. It walks like a tightrope.
It is interesting watching that personality over like a 5-year arc. And so either they go home or then like 5 years later they say, in some scenario.
Hopefully it changes then, because you will not change time.
No. You're definitely still a guest and need to participate in the system that is there. And it's their game that you're playing, and if you're okay with that, then you can have a really good life here. And if you're not, then you're gonna. It's
other countries are available. Like, they're probably also unlikely to change, bend to your will.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting time that we live in with the concept of Wi-Fi money and the ability to live and work around the world. That I think that we're kind of heading in this era where countries are going to start competing, and start noticing this. And realizing that it is beneficial to have people extracting money from around the world and dumping it into our local economy.
Yeah.
And so far that hasn't been blatantly obvious to countries, but I think some countries are starting to catch on, and I think long term, where it becomes a huge majority of the population will technically have this ability to work remotely.
Well, it's the nuance that's starting to happen.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, Thailand has had this reputation of cheap mass tourism.
Yeah.
Right, and so for a long time, when you're like, oh, let's attract more tourists, there's been sectors of society who've gone, more of that? No, thank you.
Yeah, right.
But definitely with the digital nomads, and I think things like YouTube open it up so people get a much better perspective on the variety and the nuance of options, not just the Farangs they see vomiting on Khao San Road, drinking from buckets.
Right.
So the world does seem to be changing. I mean, I reckon there'll be a massive global financial crash.
Yeah.
And then the same has happened last time in 2008, just a mass exodus of people that have money to spend.
Right. And then that'll even tighten up this competition, right? Because then Vietnam wakes up and says, "Hey, wait, all these people things are bad in their country. Things are pretty good in our country. Like, what if we courted them? What if we gave them a reasonable tax residency? What if we gave them a easy to get long-term visa, and then they can just extract money from England and dump it into Saigon? That's can be very beneficial for countries if they do it correctly, right? Yeah. But there's a lot of concerns that come with that, and also speed bumps. But I think there's definitely going to be a version of this where there's going to be a few countries or city states or something that go, hey, we could just jump in on this and get, in a way at the top end, this is kind of like what Dubai is doing now. Yeah. They're like, listen, you can come here, everything works, you can set up a business, you can get a good residency,
stop paying tax.
Yeah. Have low or no tax depending on your setup there, and you can contribute to this economy and have a good life here, and I think Dubai is definitely not for everybody, but
not for me.
But I think it's an example of what can be done, right? And it especially works out good if you have these sort of smaller or administrative regions that have a little bit more autonomy from the main country or something, And
in a globalized world, Phuket is already learning from Dubai.
Yeah.
Right? The sort of airport links is set up, you can live in air-conditioned malls and never have to leave.
Yep. I think that there's a lot to be said for that curve, and I think that it's going to be interesting to see where are these new hubs going to come up, where they actually, because there's not a lot of places that have it, even here now, I guess they have the DTV visa that makes it a little bit easier, but even that, there's a bunch of weird friction that people have trouble with and stuff, where Dubai actually said these are the rules, kind of this is the marrying the old country with the new country ideas, right? This is the rules, this is how it's going to work, and if you fill out these papers and you do these things, then you get this other thing.
So Thailand wishes it was an efficient and autocratic regime as Dubai. It's kind of straddling both of them.
Yeah,
it has some of that.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of different voices with a lot of different concerns.
Yeah, and I think
things get confusing.
Yeah.
But eventually you can see the way it's heading.
Yeah.
But it will take Thailand a few years to realise this is, because that's it. They want tourists. Really what they want. Let's stop playing games. Is how much money's in your bank account.
Yeah.
And if they can just check that instead of passports and immigration.
And are you willing to spend some of that here, right?
Yeah.
But I think I think the thing here is that there's a lot of voices, like you said. There's just it's a big country with a lot of people that have a say, and like many countries, right? And then in a way that can slow progress sometimes, right? Because there's just too many cooks in the kitchen, too many votes, too many whatever, and I think. Dubai is able to streamline that a little bit more. Same with Singapore. They were able to streamline that a little bit more. And then if you get someone at the top that has a good vision, and if people get behind that, then they can make a 50-year plan instead of a 5-year plan, and I think that that's what has made those couple of places succeed. It's also made countless dictatorships in the world not work out too well, but it can work out well. Like we're seeing this in real time unfold. That like if a smart guy has a really good vision and the people get behind it, and then they see the benefits of it to their country, then they keep getting behind it, right?
Today's episode is sponsored by autocrats. So shifting gears a bit, the blog you shared with me about the various stages of experiencing Thailand and understanding and learning about it deeper, tied it to Buddhist understandings. And is that anything you've learned about at all? Like, have you interacted much with Thai Buddhist culture?
Well, one thing that I think I've noticed, or I've observed about it mostly, is that the religion plays a huge role in how society functions. Whether or not you subscribe to it or not, like if you talk to the average Thai person, I think that it's kind of like talking to a lot of people in the West who are like, yeah, they grew up in like a Catholic Christian society, but they maybe don't like super subscribe. But it kind of, I've noticed it doesn't actually matter. Like the core values of people in the West, even if they're like, I'm completely atheist.
They're secular religions.
The core values of their person come from like Christian biblical things, even if they say like, I don't believe any of this stuff. It's just interesting, and the culture and then the laws and the rules and everything kind of built around that. And I think here, it's a lot of the culture and society and rules and everything are kind of built around Thai Buddhism, which I think turns out makes a very good society. And I think that that's something that, for example, the high trust society that we have here, for some reason, Catholic Christian countries, not very high trust, even though those are in the top 10 rule list, somehow that got missed. Where here, I guess there's like a deep belief in karma and these kind of things. Like you're just.
I would almost argue though that South America, it was built on colonial rape and pillage.
Yeah.
And so maybe rather than blaming the religion, it's like the fact that Thailand was never colonized is them all settled. Like,
that helps. Yeah. But look at when they brought that, one of their main goals was bringing Christianity. And so they kind of said...
So they said, yeah.
So they did.
They did. They did. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that, look...
They traded it for gold.
Yeah.
I think they got the better end of the deal.
And then, well, what I think is interesting about that, too, is the same with Philippines, also a very, very Catholic country. Mexico, very, very Catholic. I mean, all of Latin America, but Mexico and Philippines are, like, competing for the most Catholic places in the world now. But it's interesting because the countries
when there's a Filipino pope, they are going to go now.
Yes.
They're going to be so happy.
But the people that brought them this, the Spanish, now they've moved on. Like, yes, there's religion there, but like it's like many places in the West,
I've been to nightclubs and cathedrals.
Yeah. like half the population is atheist now, and it's kind of interesting. I think like about how the guy that taught you this, like he's not on that anymore, and or even further, if we take it, I think the Philippines is an interesting case study where. If they wouldn't have been colonized by Spain and brought them Christianity, they would be Muslim because they had like Muslim from the south, from Indonesia and stuff. Yeah. And so I always find that fascinating when you like the Filipinos are like very, very devout Christians, and it's like, but that like if the Spanish guys didn't come over here and tell you that this is how you have to think, then like you would be telling me the same thing about this other religion. It's like, interesting, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Thailand's going through a thing at the moment. So my father-in-law is deeply religious, right? And spends most holidays he gets traveling temples and praying and all this. And one of the temples he's been donating to most over the years just got caught in a massive scandal, and he's heartbroken.
Well, of course.
But this was the death of religion in so many countries.
Yeah.
Because power corrupts, and these are ultimately are people that run these organizations.
Right. Yeah. And it's like good theories, and then you get.
We can take the theory and we can stop donating to you now. We've got the books. Yeah.
But back to your original question, I think like that's something. The main thing that I've taken away is like the way that it creates actually The second and third order effects of having like Thai Buddhism as your base religion.
And watching how it, in different cultures, different countries.
Yeah, it actually turns out to make a great quality of life.
Yeah.
Like, and so whether or not it's a better or worse or more correct religion, obviously all of this is up for debate.
So this was my master's, was evolutionary psychology of religion. And I ended up pissing off both atheists and religious people because I was saying that religion is useful, but it's evolved as a group adaptation to help people cooperate in larger and larger numbers than countries could. Right?
Yeah.
It goes across.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And arguably, like, evolution is an arms race of how many people you can get to collaborate together.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Definitely tested by world wars, right?
Yeah.
The Allies versus the Axis, like, okay, more people are down on this team, we can play together nice.
Right.
And so I found, like, fascinating how, as you say, as secular person, atheist, but when you talk to people, they're not preaching text at you. It's just their values, and it's how they connect with their community, and it's what you just assume the playbook you assume everyone's playing by.
And I think when we talk about, the guy with the small coffee shop that's run by his family, whatever, I think a lot of this plays into why he can be content. We have this more thing coming from the West.
Never satisfied.
And part of the whole Thai Buddhism is being satisfied. And you can actually do that here and have a pretty good life. And so then they can just, you can get to that, we make enough money to feed the family, we have a nice house, we spend the weekends with the extended family, everything's great. And that sort of, the brain is allowed to accept that because of the core of the religion, where in the West there's just crankiness, basically.
I'd be a failure in my parents' eyes. And I was, when I was a happy hippie, scuba diving on a beach.
Yeah.
I knew I was a disappointment to my dad. Right, like, it was a thing.
But imagine if you could just say, oh no, but I'm like content.
But I'm happy, Dad.
Yeah,
and you never fucking were. So this is devolving into therapy now. So. But I find, so I did a podcast story and I was talking about myself as a Buddhist. Right? Because I've grown up in Thailand from the age of 15. For me, it's just part of my value system.
Sure.
But I'm not like, and this is the problem with the West, thinks of Buddhists as monks or TED Talk speakers, right? Corporate training Buddhism, right? And so they'd be like, so you're Buddhist, give us some pearls of wisdom. I'm like, no, I'm not performing here, I'm not giving a sermon. It's just values that I've adopted of like being content, living in the moment. And it's hard for them to see because for them Buddhism's such a foreign thing that they only encounter, the Dalai Lama doing a world tour sort of thing on TED Talk stages. It's very different, the secular, where it actually is just part of culture and life and the melting pot.
And you feel it. And I think you're right too, a lot of that maybe has to the effect of being one of the few countries in the region or in the world really, that wasn't colonized. And then that culture was able to run so deep, and you feel that here, like the culture just runs so deep, and it happened to be a pretty good culture that created a pretty good quality of life, that created just a fairly balanced society, and that's pretty cool. And it's a luck, but also a lot of skills from Rama V, who was the great negotiator, and pretty impressive feats.
Good diplomacy. But I mean, that seems to just be again Thai culture. I remember. Do you remember the guy who the Lord of War, the Nick Cage film, was based on? So he was a Russian Air Force admiral, whatever it's called, right? And he was in Thailand at a point where America was trying to arrest him because he was selling weapons to Colombian FARC terrorists, right? And so Thailand and Russia both have deep ties. Russia and America both have deep ties with Thailand. And so they were both saying like, okay, we know this guy. He actually did the deal while in Thailand. So arrest him. And bring him to us. And Russia's going, let him go, diplomatic community. And the Thais are like, what do you want to do? And they just beautifully kind of straddled this. And I think in the end they kind of like, well, we'll hold him at the airport and while we talk to the UN and see what's done. While this happened, of course, Russian Air Force guy just got on a plane and escaped. And they're like, sorry. And Thailand always feels like it's been neutral territory for this sort of thing. And they feel quite good at like...
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, no one else pulled it off, basically, right? which also is interesting, and then seeing how deep the culture runs, where like, for example, in Vietnam, when you have this like huge history of the Chinese, the French, and the Americans for a bit, and it's like, oh, what core Chinese or core Vietnamese food culture, banh mi, it's a French baguette, right? Like, and so it's interesting, like that's like adulterated and adapted in a cool, interesting way, but it's interesting here where like we still have influences here from all of the traders and people that have been here for.
But I say the culture is strong.
Yeah, and it's less influenced in those ways, which is it's kind of cool to you can just feel the depth of it,
Very cool. So, any stories in your time? Any crazy people you've met in Bangkok who are just going off the rails, or anyone you particularly admire who's living well?
I think no one that I'm going to dox, but yes,
they can remain anonymous.
I think what the overarching theme that you see here a lot is that like you can build whatever life you want. So if that's the crazy off the rails life, that can be there, or it can be the in the suburbs with the whatever. And
but I think it's fine if it's intentional. So often it's not, because people are used to naturally having the guardrails of limited free time and limited spending money.
Yeah.
And so very often people run into trouble where like they've never had to learn self-discipline. Because when the bank account gets to zero, and when you're like, I've got work tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if you don't really care about your English teaching job because there's another school around the corner.
It's funny when I first
beers
started,
are only $50.
When I first started coming here, I feel like I saw like that was like the only thing that existed. But then I feel like now there's been this evolution of like there's like too much Instagram stuff happening, So now all these guys are like, now they're at the gym all the time and they're doing ice baths and there's like this curve of like 2 years of degeneracy. And then
those guys don't survive the filter. They watch out.
And then then you wake up one day and say, oh, okay, fine. I guess I could use this optimization to make my life better, But I think it's natural to kind of, especially if you're 22, to like just go off the rails for a while because you can.
Yeah, it's cute in your 20s.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing in your 40s.
Yeah, and your body can handle it easier, But I think like it's been interesting to watch that evolution of like, of course that's always there here, right? This partying side of it, but then the evolution of like you now I feel like now I'm seeing a lot of the other side of it where this like the over optimization bro, because like you have so much time on your hands because things are so efficient, you're not doing all the life admin, so now it's like all of the the food and the this and
I don't get it. As someone that like has no problem thinking effectively, efficiently, making too much money.
Yeah.
When I get invited by these guys to like, oh, would you like a ice plunge at 6 a.m? I'm like, no. Why? Do you know how hard my great grandfather celebrated when he got his first hot shower? Like, our ancestors are just looking at you like, why? What is this modern self-flagellation? It's very Catholic, right? I have to punish myself with an ice bath. No, you don't. You can enjoy nice lukewarm water. It's wonderful.
Temperature controlled everything.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think my favorite of that is the what are you training for? It's the endless pursuit of this.
I always get annoyed. I've asked like my gym bro friends, I'm moving house, could you help me move stuff? Oh no. So you're like, so you'll only lift literally dead weight up and down.
Yeah.
Anytime you could use any of that muscle for a useful purpose, oh no, you're busy that day.
Well, my favorite is the overlap with the sleep optimization. Because
those guys are psycho. It's had polyphasic sleep cycles.
It's gone like completely nuts, and then but it's the same person who's optimizing all this, and it's the narrative of like strength and resilience and whatever, and it's like, but it was a 0.5 degree Celsius off, and my sleep score is now 72, and I can't.
Yeah, they're like an inbred purebred dog.
yeah. It's like, oh, now I can't push the keys anymore and do my heavy business,
And you're like, dude, like just build a sustainable, chill life without. And I think that's the problem as well, is that half these guys their only job is to make Instagram content about how efficient they are.
Yeah.
I think
it's
one thing biting its own tail.
Is that it's you know, a lot of the people that become successful is because they're obsessive about stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
and so, it's very hard to plan for that.
Yeah, so I think that this is just a filter of people that like the reason that you could become like successful on the internet is
it's a survivorship bias.
You're really obsessive about the thing, and then it's like, well, now your business is running because you were so obsessive about it. You make a bunch of money, you have all this free time. So
if you're getting up at 6 in the morning,
so you have to obsess about everything.
You have to be pretty dumb not to succeed. If you're grinding that hard, you'll probably find a path to success.
Yeah. So I think it's the natural next step is the obsess about the personal stuff, and it's like, I mean, we all still do it, but I'm just saying, like, it's an interesting arc to watch that. From
I'm feeling an old man trying to tell the younger generation. It reminds me of a joke, like there's two bulls and they're walking down a field and they see a field full of cows and the young one says, oh, we can run down there and fuck one of the cows. And the bull says, oh, we could walk and fuck all of them. And I feel like I'm meeting these young entrepreneurs and I love giving them advice and mentoring them. Not about fucking, that takes care of itself at their age, but they're grinding and they're hustling, and I'm like, dude, really it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And you need to find a path where you don't get burnt out and you're not surrounded by all of your co-founders getting burnt out, as I've seen happen time and time and time again. And also, if you keep waking up at 5 a.m. for cold plunges, you'll find yourself surrounded by the most insufferable dickheads.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, try and meet some interesting people who are in the bar chatting shit. You don't need to be up at 5 cold plunging because the success is taken.
But I think, like the other expat arcs, I think a lot of these things need to be learned the hard way. You know,
I plunge too hard.
Yeah. I just think, like, I mean, we
frostbite's going to be trending.
Yeah. We can say whatever we want, but I think, like, most people need to figure it out themselves, right? Like, it's an interesting thing to watch. But I think that curve, seeing this pendulum swing of the going from the complete party life to the optimize everything kind of thing. But I think it's the filter of the obsessive founder, maybe, that, you know, something like this, right? There's just it's a Instagram blamed thing, I think. You know, now everyone sees all this stuff and people are consuming all this content and learning all these things, and then you get caught in a bubble of whatever the feed is showing you, and then you know you want. Someone had a comedy bit about this, but it's something like I just wanted to learn how to do correct form push-ups. You know, and now, like, 6 months later, like, you know, I'm a conspiracy theorist who, like, you know, only eats like
trad wife.
I only eat like chicken breasts boiled and you know, snort
blended.
creatine.
That's not great. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, and like as you say with the pendulum swing, I think all things in moderation, and I have met like a new generation of entrepreneurs who don't want to IPO to $1 trillion valuation. And they're kind of just looking to build a bit more balance.
Well, back to where we started with the DC, I think that's like the beauty of that circle is that...
I don't know, because I'm newish, but that seemed to be the theme of this year, is burnout and having a rough year and recovering from...
But I mean, the ethos in general is generally not taking funding, generally not going for the unicorn, more of a...
bootstrapping lifestyle business.
Yeah, and so while a lot of people still work hard and make very big successful businesses, it's still with the, with the mindset of like, but what is this going to do for me? And along the way, I might also take some side quests, and I'm going to enjoy the ride as well, instead of a lot of the other entrepreneur groups are just full of people that have funding, and then it's like just have a very normal life, and with the only goal of someday I will have the big exit. That's it. That's the whole thing. And
I found them intolerable, and especially the American ones, like $1 billion, and you're like, bro, calm down.
Well, and I always like to come back with and then what?
Yeah.
What are you going to do then?
Then the goal's 10 billion. It's never enough, and this is what I learned from Buddhism. It's never fucking
And then
enough.
you're going to be 60, 70, 80, you know, there's this like inverse, like, you can't spend it.
You haven't given yourself enough time to spend it.
It's the like youth is wasted on the young, and the wealthy is, or money is wasted on the wealthy, or whatever. Like this kind of problem where you need to kind of figure out, like, it's so much more fun. Like when you're 22, and I said, like, you can stay in a hotel that's like $400 a night. It would be like the most amazing thing that ever happened in your life. And then like when you're 62 and you stay in a $400 hotel, you're like, man, the breakfast was kind of shit. And you know what I mean? Like there's this kind of inverse correlation. And so it's helpful to basically learn how to spend money and along the way and do some things so you can feel it.
Learn a bit from the toast.
Yeah.
Be happy where you are in life.
Yeah.
Accept your lot.
Yeah. Harder than it looks.
Jesse, fascinating. Thank you very much for your time, man. Pleasure.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Cheers, really fun.